We're not seeing. Well, we can't. We don't know because on the international carrier side, okay, we have that data, but we can't get from. We don't have that information from Comcast where they said basically what their how much of that traffic was international, etc. So, I tell you that. Yes.
What's your source for the data here?
This is from the companies. Yeah, for the most part, it's from the companies. Yes. Everybody there. Yes, it's all actually from the companies. They provide this data. And Vonage used to provide really good traffic breakouts, but they don't anymore. Okay. The alligator slide. U.S. VoIP market. VoIP service providers' gains have largely come at the expense of incumbent service providers. The four largest ILECs have lost 2.5 million subscribers, or switched access lines in the first quarter of 2008, which comes out to an average of about 28,000 subscribers a day. While a significant portion of the historical line losses are due to wireless competition and canceled lines, the rapid growth of VoIP providers has given significant impetus to this trend. Okay, on to Europe. In Europe, the growth in Europe has been much faster than the U.S. By mid-year 2007, VoIP subscribers reached 21.7 million subscribers, and we'll have the year-end 2007 numbers in the next couple weeks, so check back with us. But it's from the information that we have, preliminary data we have, it looks like it'll reach about 30 million by the year-end 2007. And of course, conditions in Europe are much different. First of all, the incumbents are far more active than in the United States. In France and Italy, the incumbents are the market leaders for retail VoIP subscribers. Also, the bundles, the triple play plans, are much more common and much cheaper. And I'll take the example of France, but France, of course, is kind of way ahead. They're the bellwether of retail broadband services for Europe. As you may have heard earlier in the general session, most French retail providers, broadband service providers, will offer a bundle of basic TV with numerous channels, 20 megabit internet, and unlimited national calling, and for most of them, usually up to 50 to 70 international destinations as well, flat rate, included in the price, all for around 30 euros, so about $45. And also, another interesting note is in France, 38%, correct me if I'm wrong, 38% of the voice traffic is VoIP originated now, which is just huge. It's growing very quickly. Yes?
Is this including also Eastern Europe? Or
This is just Western Europe, and it's actually the 10 countries that we covered in our report that were offering VoIP services when we first did our first report a year and a half ago.
Because Eastern Europe is
Yeah.
higher.
Right. In Eastern Europe, and yeah, we'll be focusing on not in this presentation, but our research actually will be moving to Eastern Europe in the next year or two, to include Eastern Europe. Let's see. Despite the impressive growth of voice over IP in Europe, just have to keep things into perspective. By mid-year 2007, of course, VoIP lines were dwarfed by fixed lines and even more so mobile lines. VoIP lines, like I said, were about 22 million. The fixed lines were 122 million, and mobile was 411 million. Okay, so what does this all mean? Quickly through this. Basically, free fall has ended in pricing. Price declines are more on what we're seeing, more to the scale of 5 to 10% rather than 15 to 20% we saw in the late 90s, early 2000. But slower traffic growth and falling prices resulting in more static or declining total revenues. And TDM traffic volumes are stagnating while the VoIP is growing strongly. And with growing volumes of traffic originated as VoIP, the impetus to convert to VoIP or deploy parallel networks or integrate the networks, of course, is growing. However, most carriers have been containing costs, minimizing investment, and costs of deploying VoIP, even though it's small relative to deployment of TDM network, but it still does require CapEx and with highly uncertain returns. And of course, it's not easy for the big TDM operators to deploy VoIP, not because of technology, and they all have, of course, have voice over IP, but because of the business issues of how to integrate it into existing businesses without harming the existing businesses. And also, last thing, of course, consolidation will continue, and just these carriers chose bulk, and of total, the carriers you see up here carry about 1/3 of all global traffic. And you may notice one missing, but it's because we're not, we're under NDA not to put them up here, or put their numbers. But as you can guess, they're probably in the higher range, close to the top of the list.
Is it all minutes or it's all minutes?
It's all minutes, yeah. It's right. It's basically all minutes. If you look in our report, we have the total minutes, the multinational carrier total traffic volumes. Yes, international traffic. Yeah, that's. Sorry, we came back to international. For traffic, we don't really cover the national or domestic. Okay, and these are just the where you can download the executive summaries of the 3 different reports that I was pulling data from. And of course, if you have any other questions, you can ask me. Thanks. Yes.
Mobile, international mobile, long distance mobile, in certain countries has tariffs or rates, and the fixed international versus mobile would have these price increases.
Yes.
Are those going away or staying? Or?
They are definitely coming down, but at the moment, at the end in 2007, I believe, to France, termination rates, or on the retail side, it was still 28 cents a minute to wireless, and to landline, I think it was 14 cents, I believe. And then on the wholesale side, less than a penny for landline, and then wireless is 14 cents.
I guess what I was wondering is, maybe another way of saying it, where are those surcharges coming from? Are those purely based on trying to get more profit out of that space, or are they regulatory, or are they both?
Well, since they're being regulated now and coming down, it's definitely not cost. There are definitely good margins for wireless, specifically in Europe. Other questions? Okay. Well, like I said, if you have any other questions, you can come up and ask me, and I'd be perfectly happy to answer if I can. So thank you very much.